And we're live. Welcome to the Redeye stream. This is maddodge Productions. I am Mad. This is Doku. We will be joined shortly by 40 ounce, hopefully. The title of the show is To the Bunkers. That's right, everybody. Oh my God, President Trump wants his name on the Trump Bucks checks. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. Everybody, screw CVID, rip your mask off and run to the nearest bunker. It's time to go, people. We got to get the hell out of here. Am I right, Doku? It's the end of the world.
Yeah,
It's it.
apparently.
That's it. I can't do it. I that's the final straw, man. That's it.
Yeah, apparently. The whole is COVID something to be taken seriously? Of course it is, like any other pandemic. But to the level that we're taking it, as I was saying last night on the Exiled Opinions opinion stream, the actions we're taking right now, it's being taken advantage of, and it's being taken advantage of for political gain. Should you wash your hands? Yes. Should you practice social distancing? Probably a good idea. Do you need to shut down 80% of the economy because there's a virus? No, you don't.
Well, no, that's not the topic. No. President
Yeah, I'm
Trump
sorry.
wants his
Derailed.
name on the checks. That's the end of the world. That's it, people. That's
And
it. We can't do it no more.
enjoy your socialism. I know I will be.
I will shut.
Hey, Mad Dog, what's going on? Doku, what's up, man? It's been a long time.
What's up? Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been? Staying
Good.
safe,
Good.
staying healthy?
Got no one to sell cars to, so I'm at home.
Yeah.
I will
Welcome to the
totally
club.
buy a car. You're gonna give me that CVID discount?
I mean, you got Trump bucks or socialism or whatever the fuck you guys are calling it.
Yeah, well, I have my own gripes, but that's a different conversation. But I do want to read this because there's a lot of you can call it misinformation, you can call it propaganda, you can call it political posturing, call it whatever you want. But it took me a while to dig through and find an article that actually had a decent, unbiased way to frame this, and I finally did find one. This is from The Week. It is by Jeff Spross, and let's see. Here we go. Trump will not be signing the checks as if he authorized them. That role is for a Treasury Department civil servant, again to maintain the non-political norms of the process. But the name President Donald J. Trump will appear in the memo line on the left side of the checks underneath the words Economic Impact Payment. No president's name has ever appeared on checks from the Internal Revenue Service before, and apparently the idea originated with Trump himself. According to the Post, IRS staff are scrambling to change computer code to make this happen, and you can sort of deduce from there that a likely slowdown in the check's disbursement is likely. Any last-minute request like this will create a downstream spiral. Where is your editors? That will result in a delay. Chad Hooper, the president of the IRS Professional Managers Association, told the Post. This would be especially grotesque because the Americans getting physical checks are generally poorer and less privileged people with less access to the banking system. They need speed the most. That said, the Treasury Department insisted the checks will go out on schedule. There is absolutely no delay whatsoever, a department spokeswoman said in a written statement. It's also possible that a holdup, if it happens, will be due to the administration's general incompetence rather than the inconveniences of the request itself. The plan to put Trump's name on the checks was reportedly underway for weeks, but IRS staff were not informed until Tuesday. At any rate, delaying money aid to that Americans desperately need in the midst of a crisis, purely for political gain, is obviously a crass thing no one should do. But let's set that aside. Assuming this could be done without any logistical delays, was it still inappropriate for Trump to do it? In other words, they're saying, no, this is not causing any logistical delays. It's not slowing down how long it's going to take for you to get your check. And it is a political move. Let's be honest. It is purely political. But he's not endorsing the checks the way that they're trying to frame it. Right? He's not the one signing them. His name just ends up on the memo.
Well, no, and not to completely change topic already, but Captain Colepile brought up something. To the bunkers, from what I understand, the governor of California has annexed Oregon and Washington, is getting ready to open her up. Yeah, it is interesting how the three governors created this Western States Pact. I want to get to that a little bit later, so that's why I'm mentioning it. Interesting that.
All right, yeah, but Trump's name's going to appear on the memo line, and let's put the politics aside. Obviously, it's a political move, but politics aside, think about this, because everyone's sitting there saying, "Oh, Trump is signing all these checks. He's endorsing." No, he's not endorsing them. His name appears on the memo line. Because that's the political purpose behind it. Do you think that's gonna slow down the printing press in any significant way, shape, or form? Like, just take a step back and think about it logically for a second. We can print hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of dollars in seconds. You really think this is going to slow down stimulus? You really think it's going to take an extra week for you to get your check just because one signature is printed on a memo line? No, it's not. It's a nonsense story. It's a nothing burger. It's being pushed for political purposes. We could talk about, should Trump be tossing out money and into that. Those are things to talk about. But this whole story about Trump signing checks is going to slow things down. That is BS. That is bullshit. It's not going to. You're going to get your check when you get your check. You wouldn't get it any faster or any slower if his name wasn't on the memo line. Let's be fucking blunt.
Well, do you think the libertarians are going to send the check back? I made it clear that we need the money. I'd be a retard to send it back. So, hypocrite, go ahead, Wolfshot, have at it. I've already admitted that on air before, at least more than once. So, whatever. It is what it is, man. But do you think other libertarians are going to send it back? How about Democrats that hate Trump? They see his name on it. They're going to rip it up in a fit of rage. I doubt it.
I may joke about the whole hypocrite thing. I mean, it is a tad hypocritical when you hear all these Republicans coming out and say, "Oh, it's fine," even though Obama did it, it was like the worst thing on the planet or some shit. However, you would be stupid not to take the money, and plus, it's going to show up on next year's taxes anyways. There is going to be a payback for this. That's just the way it is. Period. So it may be hypocritical, but I mean, I'm not going to shy away from $2,400 extra in my fucking account,
Well, and Captain Colepile said, we're talking about the government. They have to form a commission and hire consultants. In this instance, no, they don't. They actually don't. It's literally just a signature printed in the memo line. They don't have to do anything in regards to this. Now, in regards to sending out the stimulus checks, yeah, but that's just bureaucracy in general. It wouldn't matter if it was...
People are already getting the money.
And that's the thing. It wouldn't matter if it was Trump or Obama or Bush or Clinton in office. You would end up with the same type of bureaucracy that you're going to see no matter what. So from that aspect, that's more of a failure of bureaucracy than it is Trump intentionally slowing down how quick people get the money simply because he wants his name on the check. Like that is non sequitur. It's a dumb argument the mainstream media is making. You're gonna get the money, and it's not gonna get to you any slower simply because Trump wants a little bit of an ego boost because of it. Again, it's a dumb argument. Like when Bush and Obama sent out their checks, one of them had a letter, and the other one, I think Bush got a letter with his checks he sent out instead of getting his name printed on the check. And Obama still did something similar with the whole Obamacare thing. Again, this is just a way for the media to try to attack Trump and try to spin it into something. Oh, if you haven't gotten your check yet, it's because Trump wants to sign it. It's like, no, he's not signing every check personally. Like, shut the fuck up. That's stupid. Now, I don't agree with the decision. I'm kind of more in line with Bear Dog here. I think there's a lot more beneficial things you could have done for the economy, like, maybe halt interest payments, maybe, I don't know, some of those large banks that like to send, big donations to certain political candidates. What do you think they're going to do if you say, all right, well, since all these businesses are being forced to shut down due to a coronavirus pandemic, we're going to suspend interest rate payments indefinitely until businesses open up and they can actually pay their employees and pay their rent. I guarantee you, all those big banks, special interest groups, super PACs, they'll be putting a lot of pressure on people like Pelosi and her cabal to actually open back up the government because the economy, because they want their money.
Well, okay, I have a story up, but I'll remove that for now because that's a good segue into the Western States Pact. 40 ounce, welcome. And did you hear about this? My idiot of a governor, your idiot of a governor, and the idiot up north, they all talked and decided, you know what, we should all work together and pretty much go off of LA's numbers on when we reopen the economy. Can you believe this horse shit? First off, Oregonians don't like Californians at all. I mean, we put up signs that say, welcome to Oregon. If you're from California, turn around and go home, for God's sake. You really think we want to work with the governor of California?
No, that's a fucking awful idea. Don't listen to what any dipshit in California has to say. I found it. Don't listen to what any dipshit in the government of California has to fucking say. Okay, you do not go... Because I presume that you're talking about the infection rate in terms of like coronavirus people who have been affected, right?
Yeah,
I literally only just jumped in. Okay, no, don't go off of California because California is it's one of the most populated states. Look at Los Angeles and San Francisco. Look at San Diego and Santa Rosa. And guess what? They're all connected via the interstate system. They all move all the way up to. Thank you. They all move through the interstate system, even into the rural parts where I am, and then they move through those rural parts into Oregon and Washington as well. Some parts of Washington, depending on the interstate system you're talking about. But don't listen to us. Don't trust anything that anyone from California has to say. Right? We are a good majority, like big fucking ass city. So
well,
of course we're gonna have far more infected naturally.
Yeah, no, and what's interesting about it is this is on the heels of President Trump coming out and saying, hey, I want to reopen the economy as soon as I possibly can. We're looking at the numbers. We're going to figure it out. And then today he came out with some ideas of when he can open it up. I haven't looked into that quite yet. To be honest, we were playing Vampire the Masquerade all morning, so I didn't look into it yet. But really, why are we working with the governor of California and the governor of Washington with our own local economy, first off? And second, is this a power play by the West Coast governors? Looking at Trump and being like, you can't tell us what to do. We'll work together. Fuck you.
Well, I mean, here's the funny thing, right? Is that I think that this has only happened in light of the fact that due to the fact that we've enacted social distancing, and that we finally have a means of enforcing social distancing to some extent rather than little, due to the fact that people are voluntarily doing it as well. We've drastically reduced the numbers of coronavirus victims that, in accordance with like the original projections, people were saying, 30-something million people are going to get the fucking coronavirus and cajillions are going to die, when obviously like that wasn't the case, right? Hasn't been that bad, and it won't get that bad. But that's only really due to the kind of voluntary isolation that a lot of people have gone into. So,
well, also you have to take into account that a lot of the models that were presented and the expectations, they were based on information that was faulty. If we boil everything down to the least common denominator, if the tests that we were administering within the first, month or two of this outbreak, when we actually started testing for it, if they're only accurate 1/3 of the time, whatever model you come up with, it's still going to be inaccurate because the test itself is inaccurate.
Yeah.
So even right there, you run into a big issue about how do we actually prepare? How do we deal with it? And I'm not gonna sit here and point the finger and say, Fauci or BRICS is to blame, or the WHO is to blame, or China is to blame, even though China is to blame, or even Trump is to blame. The information that we've been presented with, the materials and the testing methodology we've been presented with, if that's not accurate, then you have to assume for worst case scenario. So it's better to
Yeah.
overreact than underreact. And in this case, I actually do give credit to Trump because he actually overreacted, and it turned out, for either through luck or through insight, that his overreaction was actually the best call.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that last time, Matt, the last time me, you, MC, and then whoever the fucking Sherardi got together, everyone was fucking shitting on me. Oh well, they set up a field hospital in Oregon and they didn't even use it. What do you have to say to that, 40? What do you have to say for those actions? Oh, gotcha, fucking checkmate, 40. Yeah, and so we didn't need them. Isn't that a fucking good thing? Like for instance,
Checkmate 40. Oh,
checkmate,
I'm gonna be a
40.
disingenuous little cunt. Oh.
Well, no, the thing is too, right? The thing that bothers the shit out of me about this, would it not be a good thing to overreact and on a faulty premise and at least be safe for
Yes.
fucking worst case scenario?
Yes.
I mean, here's the thing too, is we have run into so many issues with the coronavirus, like you said, not just in terms of the faulty testing, but in the fact that, this virus has mutated a few times, 4 minimum, right, in terms of major mutations dealing with, whether it infects your gallbladder and, causes vomiting and diarrhea, or whether it infects your nervous system to some degree and it fucks with your ability to smell and taste things. Would it not just be wise to take a move in, like, say, the same way we would deal with, like, terrorism or something? Deal with it with an overwhelming force and show of power, and just be safe about the matter. Like, I don't understand why people are so opposed to dealing with this.
Because people's livelihoods are being wiped out.
Yeah, so why would you not do that?
But here's the difference. And this is where we really need to separate A from B. Overreacting in a sense of you're banning travel from certain countries, there's social distancing. That's one thing. When you start shutting down the economy, however, like, you can put up as many field hospitals as you want. You could do testing, ban travel. That's a good way to stop the spread of the virus. But you don't shut down the economy because of it. That's not an overreaction. That is something that is not even. It doesn't make sense to shut down an entire business for longer than 1 month, and that's even reacting to something on an extreme fucking level. But you sure as hell do not shut down the economy for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, potentially up to, what was Shandor saying in Wisconsin? His governor was, the state governor was talking about up to 2020 or 2022.
Real quick, we got a super chat, $2 from Pinoid News. Yo, fam, what's good? Back to work for me. Hey, good for you, Pinoid. I'm glad to hear it, man.
Oh shit! Congratulations, Pinoid.
And of course, thank you for the super chat. Of course.
Yeah, no, like, you can react in a way that's appropriate to the virus. Shutting down the economy, like, not selling, like, what was Whitmer? She was saying earlier, well, us not selling seeds and fertilizer, well, it's going to start snowing anyway, so, the snow is going to shut it down for us. Yeah, there's a difference here, Governor Whitmer. When the snow comes down and you get 33 inches and people don't plant anything, that's the snow doing it. That's not through government mandate. That's called authoritarianism. You do not need to tell people they're not allowed to buy frickin' tomato plant seeds, or, they can't grow corn because, oh my God, the coronavirus. No, that's you using this as an excuse to make an authoritarian power grab. And no, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not partisan. Look at what governors in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, New York, New Jersey, California, Washington State, look at how they've reacted to it. You can set up field hospitals all you want. You can impose social distancing all you want. You can even make face masks mandatory for public transportation, even though I think that's bullshit. You could do all that. But telling people they're not allowed to buy fertilizer or seeds for their vegetable garden, that has nothing to do with coronavirus. That's you trying to break the back of the economy.
Where is that happening? It's not happening here in Oregon, and Pinoid
it's in Michigan.
Said it's not happening there. Oh, okay.
No, it's in Michigan. It's in Michigan. specifically the seed and fertilizer thing, that's in Michigan. That's Governor Whitmer. That's why I'm calling her out specifically. It's not in every state. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's only in Michigan. But this is my point. A lot of governors and local governments are using this as an excuse to try to push an authoritarian power grab. And that is the simple fact of it. No, Pinoid, Michigan is, according to Governor Whitmer, no, they're not essential.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, 40, you're on the panel, so I guess I'll just say thank you for the $5 super chat directly.
Fuck, I fucked
Unless
up.
she just recently lifted it, unless she just recently lifted that today or yesterday, no. Michigan declared that seeds, fertilizer, coal, all that is unessential. I don't know what to tell you on that one, but you can find the evidence for it. And I hope to God she lifted it, because that actually means there might be a little bit of normalcy coming back.
Pinoid's saying you got to order it and pick it up curbside. Yeah, well, okay, so like the Walmart here won't let us, like you have to stand in a long ass line. And and 40 wants me to say that. God damn it. $2 super five. I have a big boy PP.
Big boy PP. Big boy PP. That's big PP. That's big PP.
That's worth the $2.
That is worth the $2. Oh yeah.
Okay, so Pinoid. Yeah. Okay, so I stand corrected. You have to order it and pick it up curbside. Even then, though, that's still authoritarian as shit, and it's nonsense. You're telling me I can't buy seeds because coronavirus? No, that's bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. Anyone who tries to argue with me otherwise, I'm going to have a field day with you, and it's going to take about 6 hours for me to convince you that it's bullshit. But I will convince you one way or the other.
Well, let's talk about something that we know is bullshit, and it might make you have a stroke. But when is he going to go door to door and take all your guns?
Oh, I'm going to hold my breath.
A blood vessel in his brain. Wolfshot, you live in Virginia.
I do.
Are they coming for your gun? And have you set up an appointment?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, and Pinoid, I will rectify my statement. You can buy seeds, just not in store. You have to order it and pick it up curbside, and it's still authoritarian BS, and I stand by my statement.
Well, the funny, I was going to add about that. The funny thing is that you don't even need to enforce that with state regulations. A lot of businesses are voluntarily instituting those kind of measures. Like Target has it, where you can just like, oh, I'm just going to order my shit online and just bring it out to me, you fucking wage slave. Get the fuck out there and go get my shit. You know, it's just like, a lot of places are instituting, fucking curbside pickup and shit like that. You don't need to enforce that with some kind of fucking state mandate. That's ridiculous.
You guys still have Target? I think they all shut down around here.
Oh, really? No, we still have Target. I mean, although we are in a more rural area, so I mean, people are taking precautions and shit, but we don't have the population density to, shall we say, ascertain the amount of corona cases.
Well, and also to touch on what you were talking about, if it's the business itself doing it, okay, that's the business's choice. Like, you can't sit there and say, oh, well, they're only doing curbside pickup. That's authoritarian. No, that's the business making a business choice. It's a free market, a regulated free market, but a free market nonetheless. You cannot. Yeah. You can't defend the Christian baker who doesn't want to make the cake for the gay couple or the trans sex party or whatever, and then say that, Home Depot won't sell you seeds unless it's only curbside pickup. Like, you can't have, no pun intended, you can't have your cake and eat it too in this type of situation. But when the state government gets involved, that's when it becomes authoritarianism, and that's where the line has to be drawn.
What about when 3 states get involved? Because that's what we were talking about, is this West Coast pact. I don't like the sound of that. It's kind of like a death pact in a cult. I don't want to sign up with California. is what I'm trying to fucking say here.
Well, I don't blame you. And the thing is, states do make deals like this. You don't really hear about them, but they do make deals over interstate lines. Like a good example to bring up is Pennsylvania just shut down their liquor stores, claiming that they're not essential businesses. And Ohio responded, anyone who goes to Ohio that tries to buy liquor has to present an Ohio ID. If you're from Pennsylvania and you go to Ohio to try to buy a bottle of fucking Jack Daniels, and you have a Pennsylvania state driver's license, they're not going to sell it to you. This stuff happens all the time.
Penoid.
And-
There goes your fucking liquor, homie. Are you going to stand for that? That's some bullshit. No, dude. You need to riot right now, yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and maddodge, the other thing that you're forgetting too is that what does California, Washington, and Oregon all have in common?
Hippies.
Okay, you're not
yes.
wrong, but yes. Okay. Well, the thing is that they're all part of the Ninth Circuit Court, right? Or as MC likes to lovingly refer to them, the Ninth Circus Court, right? So the thing is that they're going to institute whatever fucking crazy ass totalitarian laws that they can get away with it, and they're basically, let me put it like this: they're going to throw shit at the wall, and they're going to see what sticks and what they can legally institute across the board, and they're going to see if they can probably hold it up in the Ninth Circuit. And if they can, well, then great. That sets a fucking standard for implementation of like alcohol sales and ammo sales and gun sales, preferably the latter two, right? If I had to be a guessing man myself.
And you brought up gun sales, and I find this really amusing. And I've seen people talk about this more and more. All of the people who used to be pro-gun control a few years ago just suddenly realized, oh, well, we actually do have background checks, and you can't just walk into a store and buy a gun.
Real quick.
You can't even buy ammo.
Big news, Second Amendment front, other than Virginia. On the good end, Federal Firearm Agency has approved drive-through gun sales. You get your background check taken ahead of time. You show up, you pay, show your identification, pick up your gun, and drive away. It is approved and ready to go.
Well, hold on.
Oh.
How do they? Well, I don't know how things work in Oregon, but in California, you have to come into the store, and they have to fingerprint you in the whole 9 yards.
I never got fingerprinted. No, they run your name.
Oh, that's how very liberal of your state. Wow.
Oh, we're open carry still, dude. No, one thing, you can say we're as lefty as you want at statewide, maybe, but we love our fucking guns, and we love our liquor, and we love our weed. Don't fuck with that shit.
Well, we love liquor and we love weed.
Well, Virginia is blue, and I don't know if you saw the other day, but there was a very big, not as big as the original Richmond rally, but Northam's gun grab didn't go unnoticed. We'll say that. There are a lot of people on the left, the right, moderate, center, apolitical, who were not happy about his decision to just ignore the will of the people and go ahead and just sign into law whatever he deemed appropriate. People were not happy about it.
And under the guise of like emergency action, no less. And that's the funny part, is that you can make a case, like I've been making the case, better be safe than sorry. Do we need the Portland medical establishment? Do we need those field hospitals in Portland? Okay, probably not. Do we need the big bad zombie disinfectant ships on the east and west coast? Yeah, probably not. But would it not just be safe enough to have it, right? It's one thing to argue for that. But then you're talking about the amount of incredibly subversive law passing and bill passing, and you're talking about the subterfuge of a lot of the politicians that are actually in charge. And for a fact, people are going to start passing heinous ass shit, right? It's one thing for the government to execute whatever kind of emergency powers it may have been granted by the people, but it's an entirely different thing to go around the back and say, we're gonna hold this Congress meeting at 11:40 p.m. at night, and we're gonna pass all these bills under the table.
Well, and that's the thing. Once you pass something into law, you have to challenge it, and it has to go to court. And in a lot of these cases, like I know this will probably happen in Virginia, it'll have to go to the Supreme Court. and it could take months, if not years, just to be rectified. Because, yeah, what Virginia is doing, what Northam is doing, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, is unconstitutional and does violate the Second Amendment. Like, I shouldn't need a background check for ammunition. Like, I'm sorry. No, that's nonsense. That's like me having a background check to buy a chainsaw, even though I run a landscaping company. It's stupid.
I mean, the thing is that you say you shouldn't have a background check to do that, but I mean, the problem is that you shouldn't have a background check to do it until you have to have a background check to do it. And then at that point, it's just like we've already established, the setting in which our debate will be held. The goalposts have already been moved. By that time, it's already too fucking late.
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying passing these types of things into law is dangerous for that specific reason. Because once you do, 2 years later, I'm sorry we violated your constitutional rights. Here, you can go buy ammunition again. Well, it's not going to do you a whole hell of a lot of good if your house already got broken into, you already got robbed, and you already got shot. Now is it? By the way, the cop showed up 30 minutes later and you're already dead.
Yeah.
Not going to do you a whole hell of a lot of good.
And the other thing, too, is that's assuming you can even get the bill repealed in the first place. There's so much bullshittery in place that you're not gonna overcome totalitarianism through just the sheer fucking principle of totalitarians will always seek out power and they will always use that power to enforce their will. It's not, no freedom-loving person willingly puts themselves in a position of, I'm gonna go work for the government because I hate the government. I don't know, fuck it.
All right.
People making laws of the totalitarians.
Real quick, Dodge has a super chat.
Yeah, $2 from Pinoid again. Thank you, sir. Tell everyone to read Edward Bernays' propaganda.
Edward Bernays' propaganda.
No, I'm good.
I will take this suggestion.
40's like, I know how to read. Fucking ill.
No, you do have a point, 40. Like, maybe I'm an outlier. I don't think I am, but I don't trust the government. I'm not going to trust them to sit there and, someone broke into your house at gunpoint. They're going to steal, my liquor, my booze, maybe kill my cat, take my gold and silver. I'm not going to wait 5 minutes for the frickin' police because guns are bad in Parkland and Christchurch. No, I'm going to take out a shotgun. I'm going to put a 12 gauge right to your fucking chest and say, get the fuck out 3 times and then pull the trigger. Because I know how the fucking law works.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this is why I'm against government legislation. The less government, the better.
All right, let's switch it up a little bit, and I'll re-add this. All right, so teen in remote Amazonian tribe tests positive for coronavirus. This is a 15-year-old. I don't think this is the tribe. This is more isolated. I guess there's 22,000 members of this Brazilian tribe, and they're right there on the Venezuela-Brazil border, middle of the Amazon. And the only ones that go out there really are people trying to learn the language and, missionaries, right? Yeah. So how exactly did this boy catch coronavirus if he was with the isolated group? My bet is he was with the missionaries.
Well, and here's the fucking problem, dude. Right? And this is why you need to deal with coronavirus with, at a bare fucking minimum, an abundance of caution. Because here's the problem. It stays dormant in your fucking system for 2 weeks, right? Its gestation period is 2 weeks. So you have to go through this kid's life and you have to say, right, little boy, what were you doing for the last 2 weeks? Oh, well, Mr. White Man, I was over here picking some berries. And then I interacted with this missionary, and then I interacted with this other guy that was, trying to learn our language or whatever. You have to backtrace all of that, and that's a bit of a fucking pain. That takes up a lot of fucking resources trying to do that shit. So, I mean, who fucking knows? I mean, he could, you said, he could have caught it from, it's obviously community transmitted. It's not like these people are going to the fucking store once a week to pick up some brat roast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But what scares me is what MC brought up, and I was waiting to get your guys' thoughts before it came up, but MC beat me to it. Mosquitoes? That's a terrifying thought. We're headed into summertime, guys.
Well, nigga, it is zoonotic, so I mean,
Yeah.
duh.
I mean, here's the thing is that's actually an amazing. I totally fucking forgot about that. So yeah, the disease can be transmitted via fecal matter, right? So for instance, if someone rips ass hard enough near you, you're probably going to get the fucking coronavirus. Someone licks your door handle and then you touch your face, you're probably going to get coronavirus. And there were a few cases in Hong Kong where they know for a fact the disease was transmitted between dogs and humans. No, I don't think they cooked them and then ate them. I think that they were maybe pets. Who knows? It is the Chinese. We'll see what happens. But there are cases of cats as well getting it. So that is a very valid point. MC could be totally fucking right. Could be mosquitoes.
Well, also think about it. If a mosquito bites someone, it's human blood. So a mosquito bites someone, sucks their blood, and then goes and bites another person. If bite A had coronavirus,
yes
and they
or
bite
no?
person
Yes
B,
and no. Yes and no. Malaria is transferred that way. Zika virus is transferred that way, but AIDS isn't. A lot of diseases, viruses will not attach to the mosquito. They will not use the mosquito as a host. So that's not a given.
Well, we also don't know.
Well, I mean, here's the thing that everyone's forgetting is that it's SARS novel coronavirus, right? Novel, the prefix being dinner time 40 is right on everything. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Britta. The thing is that it's SARS novel coronavirus, right? Novel meaning essentially we have never seen it before. We don't know what this thing does. It can do fucking anything.
Oh, and it's mutated enough times that we might not even have caught the mutation. Maybe it is. Remember back, I think it was in February, Dr. Fauci was saying it's not transferable from human to human. And now we know, undeniably, it is. So who's to say it hasn't mutated and we haven't just caught it? And it actually can transfer via mosquito or, hell, it could even be leeches. There might be leeches in the Amazonian River with coronavirus.
What do you think about Pinoid's idea? Bats again. But that would be what? Chinese bats and then Brazilian and Venezuelan bats. Aren't they separate strains of bats around the world, right?
Well, the specific species of bat that was being tested in the Wuhan facility, which, yes, China did admit they were experimenting on bats in a level 4 virology lab in Wuhan.
Thank you. Thank you, Doku.
Yeah, they admitted to it. We all knew it was true. The media tried to play cover for the CCP. We all knew it was fucking true. But that aside, it's specifically the hog-nosed bat, also known as the fruit bat, which are very prevalent in the Amazonian rainforest. So it might not be the same strain, but it's still coronavirus.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing, too, is that there has not exactly been an ample amount of testing in Brazil, right? I mean, here's the thing. Bolsonaro apparently has come down with coronavirus. We know multiple aides of his have come down with coronavirus. We know the foreign trade secretary, I think it was, of Brazil ended up coming down with the corona coughs. So multiple people in his cabinet have the Wu flu. It's not unfounded to think that there could be a huge abundance of people in Brazil that have the Wu flu. Now, granted, that depends on what strain you're talking about. It could be the one that makes you shit bricks, or it could be the one that is simply asymptomatic. We don't fucking know.
Well, okay, so my theory has always been, ever since I heard about this, that the testing either went wrong and it got released, or they released it on purpose. Now, if this came out of nature itself and it actually came from a bat, well, then wouldn't that disprove that? And maybe this is just a natural mutation.
Well, I want to point something out, Dodge, because the media talked about this for about a day and everyone seems to have forgotten about it. One of the scientists that was actually working at that virology lab, the one that was like a quarter mile, maybe even less away from the wet market where the first case was supposedly originated from. One of the scientists working with bats who was studying coronavirus, he got peed on by a bat and also bitten by a bat, and he self-quarantined for 2 weeks. And this was back in 2000, I think it was 2009, 2010. This wasn't even recent. Maybe it was 2018. I could be wrong. If somebody fact checks me and I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I know that this happened. This scientist working at a virology lab with bats for coronavirus self-quarantined himself twice, one for being peed on, the second time because he got bitten.
You know what's funny is that I actually remember reading somewhere that the very first coronavirus case wasn't even linked to the wet market.
It wouldn't surprise me if...
Oh, fuck. I'm pretty sure it was on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is not an awful source. You just have to link your sources. Who fucking knows? I'm fucking lazy as shit. I'm not going to look it up. But I mean, here's the thing, right? There's the Wuhan Institute of Virology, like you said, and then there's the Wuhan University, which, by the way, also has a level 4 virology lab, right? Dealing it's not exactly dealing with the common cold, right? It's your level 4 virology labs. You're talking about those big boy diseases, right? You're talking about like AIDS and shit. You're talking about SARS and MERS.
They're military grade. Hey.
Oh yeah. I mean, now here's the thing. This doesn't mean that this was, like released intentionally or that this was a biological weapon, right? It just means you're dealing with big boy diseases, whereas if they get out, those big boy diseases are going to fuck your shit up, right? So this could be some weird version of SARS that they ended up isolating and, fucking with and trying to find a vaccine for it. It just got out by accident, which is my guess, due to the fact that there have been SARS outbreaks in China before that have been covered up. So I'm willing to bet that, this is just piss poor working conditions and it got out completely by accident. But I mean, and it's still...
China's not exactly known for having the most stringent controls when it comes to how they handle, healthcare or biology.
Yeah.
So yeah, it very easily could be something as simple as, well, someone working at that facility forgot to wash their hands and then went to the wet market after work to pick up their dinner, and boom, there you go, patient 0, outbreak. It literally could be something as benign as that.
Oh gosh, are we gonna go on camera? No,
no,
okay.
I just did. No, I was just showing you I had Corona.
Oh, I thought we were going to show off our Corona merchandise. I was about to say I got a brand new pair of flip-flops and a straw hat to show you guys.
Oh my God. Yeah, what's up, Brian?
What's up? Actually, it's not the best beer. Far from it. It tastes like bad weed.
You know what's funny, right? One thing that bugged the shit out of me, people were saying, oh, people are so stupid, coronavirus outbreaks, and lo and behold, no one's buying Corona beer. It's just like, no one's buying Corona beer because they're retarded. People aren't buying Corona beer because it tastes like fucking dog shit. That's fucking why. It's because it's a bad beer. It's not because people are fucking stupid and, does Corona Extra come from Wuhan?
I'll tell you what's the worst is Keystone.
Oh, Keystone's kind of shit. Yeah. I won't lie. Basically, anything you can get out of a 40 and a gas station is probably not the best beer.
Hey, leave my Steely alone, asshole.
Okay.
Hey, you fuck off. We both know Steel is shit.
To be fair, it's not Mickey's. Mickey's is the worst.
Oh, Mickey's is the real guilty pleasure for me. I know it tastes like shit. I just drink it because I know it has alcohol.
If you can't drink it before the temperature starts to warm up just a touch, then you might as well throw it out.
Oh, that's true. Well, and you can't.
It better be like cool. Like anything could be okay drinking, kind of cool, and it doesn't have to be ice cold. But Mickey's is an exception. It has to be drinking ice cold, or else just don't drink it.
Okay,
you can't save it for later. You can't put the cap back on and just drink it tomorrow. Hell no.
Well, no. Speaking of beer, You guys see the story? The old lady held up a Coors Light can and a sign that says, "I need more beer." Yeah, it's a Pennsylvania woman, and it went viral all over Facebook, I guess. Coors sent her 150 cans of beer. Like,
Nice.
how much you want to bet every asshole now is taking pictures? Send me
I'm-
beer.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of Coors, but I am kind of jealous about that because free beer. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
come
free
on.
beer is free beer, you know.
Yeah.
I might not like it, but I sure as hell will drink it. Beer is beer, especially if it's free.
Yeah, that's lucky. I guess she's like 91 years old. She likes to drink a beer at night, which for her night's probably 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, and I see Kim in the chat. At least it's not Beast Ice. Yeah, I'm drinking Milwaukee's
Oh
best.
gosh.
That's what I'm
Oh.
drinking right now too.
Do you guys even like yourselves?
Do we have to answer that question?
No, you do not.
Hey, you know what? It's 6% by volume, and it's 15 to a case. It's not even 12, and it's one of the only ones the gas station still has in stock. So I'm not apologizing for anything.
Listen, I'm
By
just
the way,
saying,
cheers.
if you have to ask whether that was a rhetorical question, we already know what the answer is.
Anyways, cheers.
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 PBR wannabes. Oh, shut up, MC. You do.
Oh, whatever. Get out of here. None of us would degrade ourselves to such a level, MC. Get out. Oh,
Hey, if
God.
it's free, I'll drink it.
I'll tell you what, man, is you guys ever try Red Stripe?
I like Red Stripe.
Man,
Yeah.
it's okay.
In fact, a Dark and Stormy is, I believe, rum and ginger beer. And you could probably replace the ginger beer with Red Stripe.
Actually, no. I think Red Stripe is still.
Oh,
it
Red
doesn't have the.
It doesn't. No,
kinda
it doesn't.
tang.
It doesn't have as much bite as a ginger beer, but there you go.
You probably could. I don't think it would be bad. It wouldn't be the
No,
same
it
as
wouldn't
Dark
be.
and Stormy.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. But I thought that it would be interesting.
I'd still try it. I'd still
Yeah.
drink it because if I didn't, that's alcohol abuse, and I don't abuse alcohol. I'm an enthusiast. But how do we go from the novel coronavirus to fucking talking about drinks? We're not Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez here, damn it.
Because
We're
I
not-
showed that I was drinking a 24-ounce Corona.
Well, if you audition, you might be able to get a seat in Congress.
I'm not dumb enough. I mean,
Oh,
no. I
speaking
mean, if
back on topic here. China's claim of 0 coronavirus infections in the military is bogus. Sign of intimidating rivals, experts say. What say you? Are they perfectly fine in their military? I call bullshit.
No, they're not. They're just not telling you. Wait,
Yeah. Well. I mean, here's the thing. There have been, and I mean, I even hesitate in saying this due to the fact that it could totally be like subterfuge and propaganda, but there has been video of people actually coming out of isolation in Wuhan, right? And don't get me wrong, there are still military police in the street. There are still police patrolling the streets, and tests are still being administered, and there are still curfews and everything. But there is proof that people are coming out of self-isolation. The problem is that we don't know if there's going to be a huge uptick again. Because, I mean, you have to remember, people got a big dick during the Spanish flu and said, oh, it's over, the Spanish flu's over. Oh, lo and behold, what's the second fucking outbreak of Spanish flu happening? Oh, that's unfortunate. So just don't get a big dick, is what I'm saying.
it is China after all, and I don't believe their numbers for a second. Everything they put out, I'm really skeptical about.
Yeah.
And knowing China, the pattern of the CCP's behavior is they do not like to backtrack. Their sole purpose is to make the Communist Party look good. End of story. And it's like if you think of it like a set piece, like the movie The Interview. I know it was about North Korea, but same thing. Is you have these beautiful storefronts, but you get up close to them and they're like paper thin, and there's like nothing inside.
Yeah.
Or the movie High Plains Drifter. Where they kind of not High Plains Drifter. No, Blazing Saddles, where they make a faux town.
Oh. Yeah, no,
High Drifter was something else.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There have actually been quite a few people that have come out and said that, like, live in like rural areas and everything like that. That local governors will actually put on shows in rural areas, and they'll hire actors from big cities to come in and pretend like everything's fine. And when the Grand Poobah, or when the fuck was
Xi
the
Jinping.
technical? Yeah. I can't remember his official title, but when Xi Jinping,
President Xi Jinping.
Yeah, when Mr. Ping Pong comes to town, everyone puts on a great big show, and yes, there's plentiful food, and production is great, and everything's fine. No starving children over here. Don't look over here. So they do. It's the exact same kind of faux screen that they put up, and it's almost like they're lying to themselves, even though they know it's not true. They're just going to keep up the facade for facade's sake.
All right, so Aunt Jack is asking about the World Health Organization and the fact that we cut funding. That was touched upon last night on Exiled Opinions, but not here on the Redeye. 40 ounce. What do you think, first off? We cut all funding to the World Health Organization. Good for us, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, here's my thoughts are twofold, right? Firstly, a lot of these international organizations that rely on funding from multiple nations, all they are is fucking Ponzi schemes to fucking get money from people. That's all they are. I mean, the WHO has never really done anything. I mean, look at the person who heads the WHO. He ended up covering up a cholera epidemic, and that's the only fucking reason he has the position that he has. And look at the people who are funding the WHO. China and the United States and everything, like big ass countries that have agendas to push onto these massive organizations. And China got their little narrative pushed to the rest of the world. Oh yeah, nothing's happening in China.
That's the guy they wanted. That's the guy they wanted. Tedros was the guy they wanted.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that secondly, it's great that we're not funding this thing anymore, because it's proof that a lot of these organizations that we're here to prevent the outbreak of an epidemic. You're not even prepared to deal with a fucking modicum of an epidemic, right? The coronavirus, as bad as it is in some places in the world, it could be a lot fucking worse, and we weren't even prepared to fucking deal with it, right? Even with all the self-isolation, even with the total war economy that we have set up where, like Ferrari in Italy, Ferrari is making ventilators. Remington Arms in New York. Remington Arms in New York has offered to make ventilators for the state. The NHS, the National Health Organization, the National Health Service in the UK, ended up mass printing blueprints for ventilators and sending them off to manufacturers based in the UK. Okay, we have entered a total war economy to deal with the fucking coronavirus. And this is the fucking result we have. These organizations, they're not doing anything for us. It's a waste of time to fund them.
No. It is. Mostly, it's the businesses, the private enterprises. No matter what your feeling on them are or not, that are actually stepping up, and they're pretty much doing the same thing that the big companies down at the space centers do, like SpaceX. Boeing, all those other companies, is they manufacture parts for the space program for the government, and they get a contract. They get the government contract for the space program, for military, what have you. Now it's different because now it's medical supplies that they're manufacturing, and you don't need like big giant hangars to do that. You just need a decent sized warehouse and a few conveyor belts and a plastic molder, and there you go.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's private enterprise at the rate. It's private enterprise that is putting a dent in the fucking coronavirus. The state has done nothing to ail this little fucking thing that we're undergoing. I mean, the tests that the CDC kicked out, the fucking reagent was shit. The reagent didn't work. So it's like all those tests that the CDC initially sent out, they didn't work. It's fucking, and lo and behold, here's private enterprise. You know, how deep into this coronavirus are we? Right, 3 or 4 months, right?
Yeah, I mean, the first case I want to say was November.
Yeah, so first case was November. Didn't really hit the West until it didn't hit the West hard until like March. But even then, 3 or 4 months into the coronavirus, lo and behold, private enterprise has some people have tests out that will test you for positive or negative for coronavirus within an hour, and the CDC can't even get a fucking test out. So it's just like,
No.
At this rate, fuck it. Like let's contract McDonald's out to make fucking CDC to make tests for the CDC. Like, I don't care.
Happy Meal ventilators.
Yeah, come through our drive-thru and get your McTest. Like, I don't even fucking care at this rate. No, seriously. Like, what fucking difference does it make if the people that we give our tax dollars to can't stop a fucking goddamn pandemic? It's just like, what's the point? What's the fucking point, man? Like,
Exactly.
not to sound.
And I wonder if these companies that are stepping up to make ventilators and masks, I wonder if they're going to get a fat tax break.
Oh, they are. But I mean, I don't even care. That's incentive for them to do it and to prevent people from dying. So I'm fine with it.
Do we actually have the numbers on how long somebody who's asymptomatic can pass it on?
2 weeks.
That's what they say.
Yeah,
actually, I've heard anything from 14 days up to 28.
Yeah, I've also heard month long, but I mean, that's the thing. See, that's also the fucking problem, is that people really truly do underestimate the rate at, like, not even necessarily the general mutation rate that the coronavirus is undertaking, because we have like these 4 major strains. But then underneath these 4 major strains, there's all these like little sub strains that have different incubation periods, and they're the symptoms that you will have to deal with are ever so slightly different, or whatever the case. So I mean, that's the thing. You could be laid up for 2 weeks or a fucking month and not even know while you're out grocery shopping and going to church and taking your kids to school and licking door handles or whatever stupid ass Twitter feed or Twitter fad is going on. It's for 2 to 4 months, or sorry, from 2 to 4 weeks. You could be spreading this and not even know.
Well,
And
this kind of goes back to. Sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
No, go on.
Okay, I was just going to say this kind of goes back to Matt's point, and how do we feel about the WHO? No, we should be cutting funding from them, because they've already proven themselves to be either A, blatantly spreading misinformation because they're in the CCP's pocket, or B, grossly incompetent. Either way, they don't need our money. We could be spending that and putting it to better use here, and not sending it to some organization that is going to squander it. That is nonsense. And the perfect example of it is the fact that we can't even get a good read on how the novel coronavirus is evolving or affecting people. We don't even know the incubation period, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because we can't get any good data, because it's been turned political at every opportunity. And that's bullshit. So if the World Health Organization was a global entity that was not a political organization, maybe I'd change my tune a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, and I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, independent, the World Health Organization is a political entity, and you have all of the evidence you need to prove my statement right if you take the time to actually go through and look at what's going on, look at what has been said. No, their goal is not to try to combat global pandemics. Their goal is to push a political agenda and a political narrative under the guise of, well, we're here to study diseases and the spread of diseases and develop vaccines. And no, you're not. You're a political entity. End of story. You're the same thing as the IMF and the World Bank.
Oh gosh, yeah. Don't get me started on the IMF and the World Bank. You'll never hear the end of it. But but no, when you look at the WHO, like Doctors Without Borders have done more to combat this thing than the WHO ever has. The WHO are glorified paper pushers that do the will of like a hammer and sickle Pooh Bear that wants to make the whole world communist. I mean, come on, people. I mean,
Why do you
Okay,
think they're
well,
sucking up to China?
yeah, but here's the serious thing. Nancy Pelosi came out today. She said that she vows to stop Trump's illegal defunding of the World Health Organization.
oh
Illegal?
gosh,
Illegal.
yeah.
Illegal?
She called it
When-
illegal. Go ahead, panel.
and when the other countries of the world by themselves, private enterprises, non-for-profit groups like true non-for-profit groups like Doctors Without Borders step up and try to help people. And where's the WHO? Where are they? They're spinning. They're twiddling their thumbs. They're trying to backtrack. They're trying to cover up their own cover-up lies, bullcrap. And it's like our own CDC, which I don't hold in any high regard whatsoever, is doing more than the WHO has ever done. You know, it's like why when we spend almost $500 million a year on this organization, and they do nothing but prop up the Chinese Communist Party and ignore information coming from Taiwan because Taiwan's not a country. Well, like hell, it's not. It's a country.
Well, I have something I want to point out, and I apologize if this is a bit of a rant, but
Go for it.
the operative term from Pelosi's statement is illegal defunding of the World Health Organization.
Illegal.
This is like saying it's illegal for the United States to not adhere to the UN's immigration quota. Last I checked, we're a sovereign nation. We are not beholden to some multinational, faceless, might as well be a corporation. All of you leftists, you Bernie bros out there who love to say, "Oh, the corporation's evil, eat the rich." What the fuck do you think the IMF and the World Health Organization and the World Bank? What do you think they are? They're just fucking corporations masquerading as fucking international globalist government entities, political entities. Illegal? Are you telling me that we actually have a fucking obligation to fund these fucking corporations?
We do not.
Because that's what the fuck they are.
Where is it in the
Yeah.
books? Is it in the books of the Constitution? No, it's not.
Yeah, do we have to bend the knee to the World Bank and the IMF and the fucking World Health Organization? No, they can all go fuck themselves. The UN could go fuck itself for all I care. We have no obligation to these global entities.
You know what was illegal is when Obama was head of what the Security Council of the UN for like a week or whatever it was called. And in the Constitution, it says the president cannot hold the presidency and another office, especially one that is outside of the United States.
And under U.S. law, that's illegal.
That's illegal.
That's
that
actually
was
considered
treason. That's treason, in my opinion.
Well, no, under U.S. law, under direct interpretation, that technically is treason. Yes.
Yes, it is. Under the Constitution says it's treason. Oh.
Yeah, we're not beholden to the interest of any other sovereign foreign power. If you're a United States citizen and you are a representative of the United States government, you are not beholden, nor shall you represent a foreign nation.
Wait, did I just wake up in 2008? I just saw impeach Obama in the chat. wait a minute. Where am I?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that I'm actually quite surprised that because I didn't know about this, but I'm actually very surprised that she framed this in a context in which this is violating law, because typically that's not something that someone who is on the left actually does. They don't typically frame it within the context of this is violating the law or this is violating the Constitution. That's typically behavior that is exhibited by someone who's on the right. But the left typically tends to frame their arguments within the realm of morality. Like we have a moral obligation to fund the WHO. We have a moral obligation to fund, I don't know, fucking League of Nations or fucking not the League. What's it called? The fucking thing that came.
UN, same difference.
The UN. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought we were back in the 1920s with all the fucking threats of World War and disease going on. Sorry. But yeah, no. It's framed
We've now
in a more moral sense.
We've now suspended the rules of time. Time does not exist.
See, you fucking joke about that, but
40 is correct. Normally, the argument you would see coming from the left, it would be something as an appeal to morality, because appeal to emotion is usually how the left operates. Don't see. Usually, you see the right trying to frame things in a sense of, is it legal? Is it constitutional? But you've kind of seen a bit of a paradigm shift, especially over the past 2 years, where they are trying to frame it, and I guarantee you, why they're doing it is this particular reason, because they're trying to take away from the right voter base, because their own voter base is crumbling away. So rather than appeal to emotion, those voters are going to vote the way they're going to vote. They're always going to vote left. The appeal to emotion is already there. Now, if you start framing things as being constitutional or unpatriotic, like it's unpatriotic to fund defund the World Health Organization. Mark my words, give it a few weeks. You will see someone make that argument if they haven't made it already.
Oh man, it's like they want to lose, and it's like they're holding on to this whole boomer way of doing things politically, and whether you like Trump or you don't, he was someone from the outside, and you see that it's a whole populist thing, and populism doesn't exactly have to be left or right or libertarian or socialist or whatever. It just has to be what the people want at that moment in time that you could get enthusiastic about. That's populism. And so they don't have anyone to ride that wave. Obama came and went. They can't hitch their wagon to him anymore. And of course he showed himself as being part of the elite, the establishment, as one of them, and so that's the thing with Obama, and so they don't really have anyone to hitch that wagon to. They kind of lost their chance with Bernie a little bit back in 2016, but because it was Hillary's turn, and the whole party adage is, oh, it's so and so's turn, and the way the Democrat Party works as far as choosing a candidate is, voters be damned, it's the delegates and super delegates that pick the nominee, whereas the GOP, it's like whoever, for the most part, is whoever gets the most votes gets the delegates. That's just how it works.
Name's Ron Paul, but
unless your name's Ron Paul. Golly. Oh man, if Ron Paul won,
that's right. I'm still a little pissed about that.
Could you imagine what we would have if we would have President Ron Paul in 2008 elected? Man.
Also, to distill your argument down a little bit.
No taxes. That I would love that so much. No taxes. No restrictive laws on certain drugs. A lot of restrictions being gone. Like more restrictions and regulations would be slashed more than Trump ever did.
Get this, guys. Abolish roads. No, I'm kidding.
Abolish roads.
And also, to consolidate your argument down a little bit, Brian, essentially, and because this is, honestly, this is the truth, whether you want to hear it or not, the way the DNC operates is they operate from the sense of ivory tower politics.
Of course they do. And the GOP did, actually, the GOP, for the most part, kind of still does, except for the fact was Trump got so much free press out of controversy alone. And he came from the outside, and they tried to tear him down. That would normally get any other politician to drop out. But, you can't buy the guy. And sometimes he does things in lockstep with the GOP. Sometimes he doesn't. Same thing with the other party. But you see, that's the thing is they hate him so much because he's not one of them. He didn't go through the rituals. He didn't go through the upbringing that they went through. And so they can't blackmail the guy. They can't buy him off. They can't threaten him because he's been through all that. He just does what he wants.
Okay, hold on, Dodge, real quick. No, go ahead, Dodge.
Pinoy says there's been rulings on treaty breaking. The courts did nothing when George Bush did it. And also, speaking of President Trump, so did you guys see this? All right. He comes out for his CVID press conference, right? And he has the screen and
I love this.
Yeah. And he plays through, he's like, oh, they want to say I did nothing. Well, this is what you guys are saying, and this is what I did. But why he's doing this, he is looking this one reporter in the eye repeatedly. Like, you see that? Yeah. See? Yep. Fucking liar. Like, I don't know who he's looking at, but there's one guy, Crowder pointed this out. There's one guy that he's fucking eyeballing through the whole fucking thing. And did he give off the history teacher vibe? Just saying.
It was hilarious when he did that, because I'll be perfectly honest, for the sake of transparency. I have been waiting on something like this because I know Trump is a fucking troll. I know he likes to create controversy, for better or worse. But this was a brilliant moment, because he didn't have to troll the media. He didn't have to make a tweet. He didn't have to say anything. He didn't have to be brazen or obnoxious or boisterous. No, he just, okay, well, you're just guilty of it, but we'll go ahead and play it. And just sits to the side and just looks over, looks at the screen, looks over again. It's the media's own words. Hey, as Sun Tzu says, never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. And he just fucking put the stake straight through their heart. Hey, you can't defend this. Oh my God, Trump is pushing propaganda. He's using your own words. He's not saying anything. This is what you guys have saying. This is what you guys have said.
The best they could do was like, is this a campaign? This looks like a campaign. Blah 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 blah. Taxpayers' expenses. Like, look, it was done in 2 hours, so shut up. It's like
we could put together we're YouTubers. We could put together a video like that in 30 minutes.
Yeah, sure we could. Yeah, I mean, especially when you have tools like Adobe Premiere, you could easily do it. Heck, even we could do that with Windows Movie Maker if we had to.
Yo, I was about to say, I'll go fucking Stone Age on this shit. I'll use Windows.
I mean, shoot, man.
But that's the thing to do. He even has the titles up there. Like, it looks like a freaking 9th grade book report with the freaking titles.
Yeah, history teacher vibe, because the transition sucked. I'm like,
yeah.
CNN changed their banner 4 times. 4 times within 2 minutes.
Dude,
it's like,
they lost
Trump
their
has
shit.
wealth now, blah, blah, blah. Trump tried to rewrite history. How is he rewriting history? He's showing current history.
Well, that's the funniest part. He's showing you clips of what you guys have said, and you're claiming that he's trying to rewrite history and pushing propaganda. What does that say about you?
That could have gone on for hours. I had hundreds more clips.
Yeah, I know. I like that. But 40's been trying to talk. Go ahead.
No. Doku brought up an excellent fucking point, and that's what I was just about to get at. Is that Trump's up here throwing the fucking headlines of CNN back in their face, and then they turn around and write an article. Trump's vicious attack on the media reads like propaganda. It's just like, but yeah, this was your own words. Are you admitting that your own words are fucking propaganda, you fucking dipshit? Like, all he's doing is showing you your own fucking headlines, you asshat.
It's funny. Those that don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And what happened 4 years ago, especially when it was apparent that Trump was going to get the nomination, and he got the nomination, and then the media just wouldn't let up, and he kept calling them out, and they kept doubling down, even after Election Day, all the way through and beyond, especially up to Inauguration Day and a little bit beyond that. And it's just like, how do they think they're going to succeed over this guy? And they can't succeed over this guy. They're going to have to take the L on this one, because when everything's shut down, where are people going to go do their campaign rallies, even if they're the opposing side? Is Biden putting out videos about his platform, about his agenda if he's elected president? What is he going to do for the American people? Is he campaigning a certain way about this, that, the other thing, on this rights, that rights, on taxes, on whatever? He's not. He's just say, oh, this president has to be stopped and he needs to stop politicizing the virus, blah, blah, blah. Yet he's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And that's their strategy. Is like, oh, well, screw Trump. That's the strategy. It's like, you got to give the people more than that,
Well, like I said, you never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. And he didn't. Trump just sat back, waited, and then finally decided, okay, I have enough information here. It's gone on long enough. I'm going to show everyone this is what the media has been saying. This is how I acted. I've made tweets about this. So, Fauci comes out and says, oh, the virus can't be transmitted from human to human. Pelosi is like, come down and join us in Chinatown. Bill de Blasio, get out on the town, go visit the cinema. Fight against Trump's xenophobia and racism. And now all of a sudden the cities are locked down. Trump didn't respond quick enough. We need more ventilators. Don't ignore the ones that we have in the warehouse because, well, it hasn't peaked yet. So we're saving those for when we actually need them. But Trump didn't give us enough. But China did, and we're going to praise China. Do you guys lack self-awareness? And Trump knows it. And he waited, he bided his time. And the second it was like, okay, we have enough information. We've seen what you guys have done. We saw what you were advocating for at the beginning. It's not that serious. Go out, go to the movies, go visit Chinatown. Trump shutting down travel to China and Europe. That's all xenophobia and racism. And then the virus blows up in the media. And I do believe, and maybe this is a bit of a conspiracy theory, but I don't know. Evidence is evidence. The second that there is a reason, once the virus is spread enough, that you can actually create a decent case for fear-mongering and pushing your political agenda using the virus as cover, what do you see happen?
Yeah.
From 1 week to the next? We go from everything's fine to shut down everything.
Yeah.
Do you think this has not been politicized? I don't care if you're on the left or on the right. I do not care if you're a pro-Trump, anti-Trump, never Trump, or blue wave, red wave. I do not care about the fucking political tribalism. Put all of that aside and look at what the hell has happened over the past couple of months. I
lost thousands of dollars worth of work, and I'm like not exaggerating. At this
dude,
time,
I'm right there with you. I got wiped out in the market.
At this time this year, I would be working 60, 80 hours a week, but I'm stuck at home because events are canceled.
And that's the thing. Is it any coincidence that this comes, right when spring, summer would start, when the economy usually starts booming? And then all of a sudden, novel coronavirus shut everything down. All of this seems extremely convenient now, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, what sucks is this is about the same time of year, if you think about it. The same time of year, let's go back 12 years ago. We could say 12 years ago. Yeah, 12 years ago. The same exact time of year when we had to bail out Bear Stearns. Almost to the day.
Governor Whitmer even said, well, the snow is going to stop people from gardening in and of itself. We're moving into spring, not winter.
Well, spring, yeah. Well, it's already spring now. I mean,
we're about to move into summer.
It's about to. I mean, it's summer here where I'm at already. But
more my point is, doesn't anybody think the timing of this is really, really suspicious?
I mean, somewhat. I mean, because it depends on what you are referring to in terms of time, because I mean, if you're talking about like economic time, right, you're totally right, because I mean, this is the time of year when people are getting their rebates from the IRS, right? They're getting their tax refunds, they're making summer plans and saying, you know, oh, well, we're going to go camping here, we're going to go see great grandma, we're going to plan our trip to Italy, right? This is the time when typically the economy is about to enter its height. Right, and we're talking, you know, Christmas aside, right? That's another thing. That's more regional rather than, you know, entire like northern fucking hemisphere, right? But I mean,
that's
this
exactly
is typically
that's exactly what I'm referring to, because we've already
Yeah.
heard from the horse's mouth. Well, I don't care if the economy collapses if it means taking down Trump. Like,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that statement didn't age too well.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is that was because I mean, I remember the very first time that was said. That was said by Bill Maher. Now, I can forgive Bill Maher strictly on the fact that he is a comedian and an entertainer. So it's just like I can understand you're trying to play to like your audience, but it's just like that isn't the time. That isn't the first time that wasn't said in jest. Right? That has been said on multiple occasions in a very serious setting, very serious tone. So it's just like, I mean, do you really think it's a possibility? You know, I'm not going to say anything aside from that, but, you know, do you think it's possible?
Well, again, the only thing I can go off of, and this is kind of the same issue that, you know, I'll give Dr. Fauci a little bit of credit here. You can only go off of the data that you're presented with, whether it's good data, bad data, that's all you have to go off of. So
Yeah.
I'm taking the same approach. I can only go off what I can see. And from what I've seen, was this intentionally done? I don't know. Maybe there's a possibility. But as they say, never let a good crisis go to waste. So is it being politicized? Are they trying to capitalize on this opportunity? Most definitely, yes. That is undeniable. If you look at the timeline of events, if you look at past history and past behavior and what's been said, and then you see how, you know, pundits are treating this and how governors have used this as an opportunity to push their own partisan agendas, and we could just look at Nancy Pelosi, no more need be said. Yeah, this is being politicized, and it is opportunism at its finest.
Yeah. Well, and not only is it being pushed by Nancy Pelosi, but I mean even I mean you don't see Biden supporters, the really hardcore Biden supporters. You don't see them kind of pulling those tricks as often, but I do know a lot of Bernie supporters were actually pulling it. I saw it quite a few times, like depending on what kind of subreddits you go to. Right, I'm one of those filthy, disgusting plebs that made a Reddit account so I can browse. But there were a few people on the coronavirus Reddit thread literally just shilling Bernie's healthcare proposals. This isn't the time to politicize the coronavirus, so we need to adopt Bernie Sanders' healthcare policy. Wait, I thought you just said this wasn't the time to politicize it. Yeah, but I mean, we need Medicare for all. Yeah, but you said you weren't politicizing it. Yeah, but I know. But we need to help the sick people. Okay.
Yeah,
I guess
it's ironic, the lack of self-awareness, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is.
Didn't they say that that they will do everything they can to make sure that they don't get billed for like corona testing and anything that has to do with coronavirus treatment, that they'll do whatever it takes to make sure they don't get billed for this, because this is a national crisis. I mean, they say that from the Trump press conference that came out of the mouth of Steve Mnuchin.
Yeah, I think what it was basically the kind of single payer kind of federal healthcare system. So like if you have Medicare or something like that, you're not going to be billed for coronavirus testing. So I do know that's a thing. They came out and Trump basically, I don't know what he did specifically, if he passed some kind of law or sat down and had a discussion with someone, but I know the CDC isn't going to exactly bill you for that coronavirus test. And neither is your healthcare system or your healthcare provider, because it's like a national emergency or something along those lines.
Well, and also, if you're under, I believe it was Medicare, not Medicaid, but if you're under Medicare and you're under quarantine, you can talk to your doctor either over the phone or do video conference and have consultations at no extra charge.
Okay, well, you guys asked about Biden and campaign videos. No campaign videos other than like interviews in the last 6 months. But yesterday, ex-President Obama came out and endorsed him publicly.
Mm-hmm.
I can just imagine, Mr. Biden, we're going to be shooting a campaign video. Where am I? Is that my sister? Oh, wait, that's my wife. Oh, God. Sorry. Oh. Sorry.
Oh,
go on.
And that's the thing. I know
No,
people.
I got his campaign video. Do you have Alzheimer's? Biden understands. How about Parkinson's? Biden knows about that.
Good Lord.
Wouldn't it be? Sorry, go on, man.
Oh no, I've just been saying this a lot, dude. Biden's a placeholder, right? Whoever is his VP, that's the person that you're really voting for. And now that Bernie and Obama have come out and endorsed him, Biden is just a figurehead. He's a placeholder. The one that's really going to be making this decisions and calling the shots. That's going to be whoever his VP is and whoever endorses him. Which, Obama might as well run for a third fucking term at this point in time.
Speaking of that, what about Michelle?
It would not surprise me.
That would probably what would save him at this point. But even still, I think damage is done. Irreparable damage is done to the campaign. Because right now you have all these videos and GIFs that are not going away being released of him sniffing girls and women all over the place. and the fact that he can't put two words together, like he's worse than Bush Jr.
Yeah, the thing.
And the thing, and then at this point, and I've said it once and I'll say it again, if you're voting for somebody because you don't like the other person, and that is the momentum of that person, that particular person, that person's going to lose. Because, like, let's look at the people that voted for John Kerry. No one was enthusiastic about John Kerry. They just wanted to get rid of Bush. Well, that failed.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole thing to get rid of Trump, and you don't have any candidate that you're enthusiastic about, which is Joe Biden, that's going to fail. And let's go back to 2008. John McCain had the same strategy. He had Sarah Palin. And, I guess, it was a little bit more vibrance and whatever to the party or whatever. And as you remember, that did not do well at all on election night. Because it was all about, because it wasn't about Sarah Palin, it was about John McCain, and that was it. No one cared about John McCain. That really was the.
Well, no, and the funny thing is, he even had a movie made about him that came out that election year.
Oh, so real quick, Ain't Jack in the chat. You think Bill de Blasio is going to be his VP over Cuomo?
He might. Yeah, but he might.
Oh,
Bill de Blasio, really?
I got it. Governor Northam resigns and runs for VP.
Well, it would be funny if it was Cuomo, Bill de Blasio, or Ralph Northam, because then that's going to give Trump so much ammunition, because Biden already said his VP was going to be female. So unless one of them decides to change their pronouns, he's going to wipe the floor with him.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's what leads me to think that, I mean, honestly, let's be real. Who is the VP going to be? It's not going to be Kamala Harris. And he still has to appeal to his baseline Democrats while also trying to maybe kind of bring over some of those people who are like, center lefty, and also those who are like a little more socialisty, he's probably going to go for like Warren or something.
What about Tulsi?
No, the left
Tulsi
hates.
Yeah, Tulsi's that would be political suicide. No, honestly, just because Obama came out and endorsed him, it really would not surprise me if he picks Michelle as VP. It really wouldn't.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good. I actually didn't think about that because I mean the thing is, I wouldn't assume that Michelle Obama would get involved in politics due to the fact that it seems as though like she tested the water a little bit. And a lot of people were on board, but like maybe I don't know, like it didn't appeal to her being a politician or something. I mean, I don't know.
So here's my logic on this one. You look at Trump and the way he does politics and everything.
Yeah.
But do you look at how Melania acts? They might even just take a page out of Trump's book and be like, well, you don't really need to be politically active, but you need to appeal to the people. So Michelle Obama could essentially just be a proxy. Barack would be pulling the strings, which means the DNC is pulling the strings. All Michelle Obama needs to do is do essentially what Melania is doing right now, and be on the cover of a Vogue magazine, pick some Christmas ornaments, make a few humanitarian statements.
The right would nail them. Your vice president's just a figurehead, and the former president is trying to get his third fucking term. Oh hell no!
That's what they would do. But that's what the DNC would do. Mark my words. They would definitely do that because she will be a placeholder the same way Biden is.
Well, she might be a placeholder, but here's my problem. How is it that you are going to prop her up? How is it you're going to prop her up as a placeholder? What political experience does she have that you could even come remotely close to leaning on?
She's the former first lady, and that's what they'll roll with.
That's not political experience, though. Because, I mean, at least Barack Obama was a, like, quote-unquote community organizer or whatever it is that he did.
Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's what they'll roll with is, she's the former first lady. She was married to the president. She must have political experience, right? And mark my words, if this does happen, they will point to Melania and say, what political experience does she have?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I mean, in the vein of that same argument, I worked at Taco Bell, so I must have business experience.
Well, I guarantee you that's what they'll do. And if it's I was actually kind of surprised that Biden didn't go with Harris, because he won't go with Elizabeth Warren. I can tell you that right now. That's also political suicide. And Elizabeth Warren, I don't think has an interest. She already achieved her goal, and her goal was, on the behest of the DNC, get rid of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, because Elizabeth Warren, she fucking hates Sanders. Like, you don't have to be a political insider to fucking just look at the campaign those two led and just be like, I don't think they like each other that much.
No, they despise each other.
Yeah.
Now, the only other...
You're not gonna be an idiot and go Hillary, right?
No, well, he won't go with Hillary, but the other option, and this is the one that actually really concerns me, he might actually try to go with Chelsea Clinton.
Is she? Well, she has to be older than me, right? Yeah, so she's at least 35.
She's old enough to be VP. Yes, she is.
My dude, that is a fucking interesting goddamn thing that you just said there. Ooh, that gets my wheels a turning.
He at the behest of the DNC, because Hillary's already dug her grave, he might go with Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I would pay so much money for him to do that. I will give him the last $30 in my account for him to do that. Oh, I swear to God.
If he goes with Chelsea Clinton, I haven't heard anyone say it. I haven't even heard someone like Crowder or Next News Network, or I haven't heard anyone bring it up, but everyone seems to be ignoring Chelsea. She's been lying low for a little bit, right? She's kind of been out of the spotlight. She hasn't been saying anything. It's kind of the old magician's trick. Look over here, don't look over here. I would not be surprised.
That's very true. I mean that's very true. I mean, here's the thing: you're talking about someone who has relations with a legacy candidate, someone who is related to someone that could potentially drag in a lot of those longtime DNC voters. Has a name. Oh, name recognition. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Oh
but you
gosh.
see, the name recognition didn't do squat last time, and that's the thing.
But
I
the
mean,
thing is
name
also the
recognition. Hillary
DNC.
didn't do squat.
But the thing is the
I mean, well,
DNC doesn't.
Trump was a big name.
Well, the DNC also doesn't evolve, and also Chelsea Clinton. She does have the name recognition. She's a young female candidate. If she was named, I mean, I still think it would be stupid on his part. I don't think she'll beat Trump, but it will be the same type of thing where it drums up sensationalism. It will take the spotlight off of Trump, and it'd be like, oh, Biden makes unprecedented move. Chelsea Clinton, daughter of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, is nominated by Joe Biden as his VP.
Yeah. At said point, the right will then simultaneously turn around and then start shitting on her for not having any political experience. But
Well, and
goddamn,
also that would be the most brilliant thing for the DNC to do, because if you start attacking Chelsea Clinton, well, what do you think the mainstream media is going to do? They're going to bastardize you and say like, oh, how look at these evil right wing whatever buzzword you want to throw out there attacking Chelsea Clinton because she's nominated VP by Joe Biden. She has
No, wait a
shield
minute.
built
You don't
in.
get to pull that. Once you go public and you run, all bets are off. The gloves come off. Politics is a dirty game.
Well, I know, but the thing is, we've seen how this go. We see how this goes with Trump. We saw how it went with Obama, where you can brand people certain names, the media will run cover for you. She already has that built in, and that's how they run. They don't run based on policy. They run based on, if you don't like said person, you must be insert buzzword. She already has that built in.
Mhm.
It would be a smart move.
But
It
the
really
thing
would.
is, how would it be a smart move? Because she's married to, I want to say, the son of the president of the World Bank. She's married to someone. Oh no, she's married to someone from Goldman Sachs. One of
And
either the World Bank
you
or
think,
Goldman Sachs.
and do you think the
That's
mainstream
Chelsea
media is
Clinton.
actually going to report on that?
No,
When
but you
they're-
see, no, she's got it made already. She doesn't need to do squat. She doesn't need to engulf herself in this, unless she's got that attention whore gene like her mom does. She's
and
not
Aunt
gonna.
Jack,
She's
Aunt
not gonna
Jack in the
try for
chat,
it.
Aunt Jack in the chat said Chelsea Clinton's already in trouble with Hillary. The fact that she's
I
already in
wouldn't
trouble,
surprise it.
that might be her way to repent. Is like, no, you're going to do this. Don't think she
Who else
wouldn't.
who else doesn't have like frustrations with their elderly parents?
And again, it's like, okay, I can't run because my political career is already damaged. You're going to do it. You're going to do it in my stead. Don't think that they wouldn't.
It could
Do
be.
not
It
discount
could be a passing of the torch, a legacy thing for vanity. For Bill and Hillary. I mean, I could see that.
And also think about this. You have Biden, former VP of Obama, and then Chelsea Clinton, Hillary's daughter. You now have essentially two placeholder puppets. It'll be Clinton and Obama, but it'll be that's what their ticket would be if this comes to fruition.
Well, no, and they could run her, and then when she loses, run her for the Senate, and then she might win that, and then run her as president when it's all wide open.
Exactly.
Do what Obama did, pretty much. But last thoughts, guys, because all the kids are coming in, and we're headed to the 2-hour mark anyway. We're like 20 minutes shy, but all the kids are coming in, so it's going to get real loud at my house. And I don't care if it's about coronavirus, the election, whatever you guys want to talk about real quick. Final thoughts overall, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, real quick, this segues into what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I'm going to have just a stream that talks about old school pro wrestling and things like that tomorrow. And I just see the news right now today. The WWE just released a lot of their main roster today.
Mhm.
like half of their roster are released. So that's neither here nor there. That's something I just saw within the last 15 minutes.
Well, yeah,
All
and
right,
my last thoughts was a story that we didn't get to. I wanted to, but we didn't. 4,000 inmates released in LA County, including violent offenders. Yay, that's nice.
Yep.
We'll get to that on the next Redeye, guys. Doku or 40, go ahead.
40, you go ahead first.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna throw this out there, right? Because I don't have any time to do any of my Corona casts where I get to sit up there and act like a fucking crazy person, and I don't get my little theatrical release once a week from my Corona cast. So I'm just gonna say this: I'm gonna pretend like the CIA isn't investigating the fact that the coronavirus could have actually come out of a lab. I'm not gonna say that this. Coronavirus is mutating at a very rapid rate, and the fact that we don't know what a lot of their symptoms are, and that this absolutely isn't a concern. I agree entirely with MC. This is nothing to worry about. Everyone go about your business. Nothing's happening. No one's dying. Doesn't matter. Old people are being put on ventilators. Young people are being put on ventilators. Don't worry about it. The coronavirus is just a big nothing burger. I agree with MC. There, that's my pot shot at MC for the day.
All right.
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the only thing I have to say is to everyone, left-leaning, right-leaning, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, put your tribalism aside, put your bias aside, and look at what's going on, and don't get your news in 60 minutes and actually try to just connect the dots and see, is there any reason to question what is going on and what is being said? Because where there's smoke, there's usually fire. You might want to actually start thinking about things from that perspective, not from red versus blue. It's not a video game.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. If you're interested in the Vampire the Masquerade games we're playing, the last one was pre-recorded and it is up on the channel already. The next one will be out on Tuesday. We're going to record on Monday. Good night, good luck, and hey, wear a mask, wash your hands. You know, who knew what's his name was so on point? Instead of your ass, though, wash your hands.
Tariq Nasheed?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Wash
sir.
your hands.
You did us a service. Good night, everybody.
No, seriously, in all fairness, do actually wash your hands. The soap and hot water breaks down the fatty lipid acids that actually holds the coronavirus together. So you should actually wash your fucking hands and stay the fuck inside, or I swear to God, I'm going to get my gun.
My God, you're in California. On that note, good night.
All right, everybody.